Have you ever wondered if the story of humanity's creation is really as it has been told to us? Most people believe that Adam was the first being created by God. But what if there's a hidden mystery in the Bible that few have dared to question? What if there were other beings before the creation of man? Something that was forgotten or even deliberately concealed. Today we will explore this enigma, examining not only the scriptures, but also ancient traditions and theories that challenge the conventional view of creation. Before we proceed, consider this. If other beings already existed before humanity, was Adam truly the first? Or could it be that human creation was just another chapter in a much older story? Imagine being at the dawn of time, before Eden even existed, before the first human breath, before the separation of light and darkness. According to the Bible, at that primordial moment, the sons of God were already present, witnessing the grandeur of creation. But who were they? And what was their true role in this cosmic scenario? The answer to this mystery might lie in the book of Job. In it, God poses an intriguing question to Job. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Job 38:4-7. This verse gives us a crucial clue. The sons of God existed even before the foundation of the world and celebrated the creation of the universe. But how is this possible if Adam was supposedly the first man? What's even more curious is that this isn't the only biblical reference to these mysterious beings. In other passages, they appear interacting directly with God, as seen in the book of Genesis and Job itself. What challenges our understanding of the traditional narrative is the fact that the Bible clearly mentions them, yet we rarely hear about them. Why is this topic so rarely discussed? Why do most modern interpretations ignore them or treat them as an insignificant detail? Could it be that there's something they don't want us to know? Now, before we go further, reflect on this. If these beings existed before Adam, was all of creation truly made for us? Or are we part of something much larger, something we've barely begun to comprehend? If this mystery has sparked your curiosity, brace yourself. What we'll explore next might forever change the way you view the creation of the world. To understand who these sons of God really were, we need to return to the original source, the Bible. But does it give us concrete clues about these beings? Or are we dealing with hidden knowledge, veiled between the lines of Scripture? Few people realize that the sons of God appear in several biblical passages and seem to play a fundamental role in humanity's spiritual history. One of the most significant verses is in the aforementioned book of Job, where God challenges Job to grasp the grandeur of creation. The crucial detail here is that the sons of God were present at the moment the world was created, meaning they existed before the earth. The most traditional interpretation of these sons of God is that they were angels, spiritual beings dwelling in the divine presence. And this explanation seems to make sense, as the Bible often describes angels as celestial messengers and warriors. But is this the only possible explanation? When we analyze other passages of the Bible, the story becomes even more intriguing. In Job 1:6, we find an enigmatic fragment. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. Here we see the sons of God gathered in the divine presence as if participating in a celestial council. But if they were just angels, why does the Bible specifically call them sons of God and not simply angels? Could Scripture be revealing something we've overlooked? The question becomes even more complex when we examine Genesis 6:2, which states, "The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves from among all those they chose." This verse raises numerous questions. Who were these sons of God? If they were merely angels, how could they have physical relationships with human women? Or are we dealing with something far deeper, a spiritual and material reality intertwined in ways we don't yet fully understand? Some scholars interpret this passage as evidence that the sons of God were spiritual beings who somehow physically interacted with humanity. And this raises another unsettling question. If these beings could interact with humans, is it possible they existed before humanity and influenced history in ways we can't even imagine? Another interesting passage is found in Psalm 89:6, which says, "For who in the heavens can be compared to the Lord? Who among the sons of God can be like the Lord?" This verse suggests that the sons of God are celestial beings dwelling in the heavens. But what does this really mean? Are they just angels, or is there a more complex spiritual hierarchy than we've imagined? The repetition of the term sons of God in different biblical contexts leads us to an inevitable conclusion. There is a celestial order that predates the creation of man, something present since the beginning of the universe and that continued to exist throughout history. But the big question remains. If these beings existed before Adam's creation, what was their role? Were they mere observers of creation, guardians of lost knowledge, or did they have a more active function in the divine plan? This is where we enter uncharted territory. Some theories suggest that these sons of God weren't just angels, but entities created by God to fulfill specific purposes within the cosmos. This raises an even deeper question. What if the world wasn't created solely for humanity, but for something far greater, something that has escaped our understanding? The scriptures show that these beings were present before the creation of man, but who were they really? And more importantly, what happened to them after humanity emerged? Now that we've established this biblical foundation, we can explore the main theories about the identity of the sons of God before Adam. And what comes next might completely change how you understand the creation of the world. Now that we've understood that the sons of God existed before the creation of man, an inevitable question arises. Who exactly were they? Many theories have attempted to explain their identity, some rooted in Judeo-Christian tradition, others in apocryphal texts, and some going further, proposing hypotheses that challenge our understanding of creation. Let's explore the three main interpretations of who the sons of God were before Adam. One of the most widely accepted theories is that the sons of God were angels. This view is supported by the fact that in various biblical passages, angels are described as inhabitants of heaven before humanity's creation. The book of Job itself tells us that these sons of God were present when God laid the foundations of the world, suggesting they existed before the earth was formed. Furthermore, this theory aligns with the Christian tradition that angels were created before man and performed various roles in the spiritual universe, some as messengers, others as warriors, and some serving directly in God's presence. But if the sons of God were just angels, does that mean they were all faithful to God? Or could some have strayed, becoming the fallen angels? The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text not included in most Bibles, speaks of angels called watchers, who descended to earth, mingled with humans, and produced a hybrid lineage. Could these be the same sons of God mentioned in Genesis 6? If this theory holds true, the sons of God would be powerful spiritual beings who existed before humanity and played a direct role in the cosmic order. However, this isn't the only explanation. Another intriguing theory suggests that the sons of God were pre-existent spirits or souls, existing before the creation of the physical world. This idea appears in some early Christian currents and certain Jewish traditions. It proposes that before God created the material world, he made souls or spirits awaiting a purpose. Though this theory might seem strange, some biblical passages hint at something similar. In Jeremiah 1:5, God says to the prophet, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you." This suggests that Jeremiah's soul existed before his physical birth. If this was true for Jeremiah, could it be true for others as well? This view raises a fascinating question. What if the sons of God were spiritual beings created before humanity, but who hadn't yet received physical bodies? If this hypothesis is correct, Adam wouldn't have been the first being created by God, but rather the first human placed on earth, while the sons of God already existed in another state of being. This could explain why they were present before the world's creation and why they appear at different points in the Bible, interacting with both God and humanity. Finally, there's a third theory that completely challenges our understanding of the creation story, the so-called gap theory. According to this view, there could have been a creation before Adam that was destroyed before the formation of the world we know. This idea is based on Genesis 1:2, which says, "The earth was without form and void, and darkness covered the face of the deep." But there's an interesting detail. The Hebrew word translated as was can also be translated as became, meaning the verse could be saying that the earth became formless and void. This would suggest that something existed before this state. If this theory is true, the sons of God could belong to that earlier creation, a celestial or even physical civilization that existed before humanity and, for some reason, was destroyed. This would explain why the sons of God were there at the foundation of the earth, perhaps because they were already part of the story before humanity was even conceived. This theory also aligns with passages that speak of Lucifer's rebellion and the fall of the angels. If there was a creation before Adam, could Lucifer's rebellion be related to it? Were the sons of God part of that ancient world that was destroyed? If so, then Adam wouldn't have been the first being created, but rather the first of a new era of creation. Regardless of which theory one accepts, one thing is certain. These beings existed before humanity and played a significant role in the story of creation. But this raises another crucial question. What happened to them after Adam's creation? Did they disappear? Or can their influence still be felt in the world today? If the sons of God governed creation before humanity, did they passively accept losing that position? Or did some of them rebel against the divine plan and try to reclaim their former status? This idea leads us to an even deeper question. If these beings existed before humanity and some rebelled against God, could their influence still be felt today? In various parts of the Bible, we find references to spiritual beings who continue to operate in the world, influencing nations and historical events. For example, in Daniel 10:13, a spiritual being called the Prince of Persia is mentioned, who fought against an angel sent to Daniel. This suggests that there are still spiritual forces governing and exerting influence over the earth. If we connect this to the theory of the sons of God, we might conclude that some of these beings still operate behind the scenes of history, attempting to shape humanity's fate in ways we can scarcely imagine. But the big question is, are we prepared to see this reality? The creation narrative we know might be just a part of the story. There are profound mysteries that have yet to be fully revealed. And perhaps the sons of God are the key to understanding a much broader picture. If they were present before humanity and their influence can still be felt today, what does that mean for us? Perhaps the answer lies in what we often overlook, the true purpose of creation and humanity's role within it. This brings us to a final question. Is humanity truly fulfilling the purpose for which it was created? Or are we still trying to understand our true place within the divine plan? The Bible shows us that God didn't just create the physical world, but also spiritual realms, celestial beings, and cosmic structures far beyond our comprehension. Amid all this, Adam and Eve appear as a new phase within the divine plan. But that doesn't mean they were the first beings created, just the first of a new order within the celestial framework. If the sons of God existed before humanity, then God's creation neither began nor ended with us. We are merely a piece within something much larger, a story unfolding since time immemorial and still being written. The question that remains is, are we ready to uncover this truth?